ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरत्विषे नमः। पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थेषु तेने ब्रह्म हृदय आदि कवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। स्वस्ति अस्तु विश्वस्य खलः प्रसीदतां ध्यायन्तु भूतानि शिवं मिथो धिया। मनश्च भद्रं भजतादधोक्षजे आवेश्यतां नो मतिरप्यहेतुकी। The reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto number 7, chapter 15, verse number 66. These are instructions of sage Narada to King Yudhishthira. And we've been reading how he was explaining that there are three types of Advaita: Bhavadvaita, Kriyadvaita and Dravyadvaita. Usually we are only familiar with variety. We see everything as different from each other and different from everything else. One object is different from other object. One activity is different from other activity. One thought is different from another thought. Right? That's what we see. But at the base there is all unity. So just like you have the ocean is one, but there are so many waves, high waves, which manifest one after another, and they all look different, but it is all part of one. Similarly, there is so much life inside the ocean, but it is all ocean only, right? You don't say that this is ocean and this is different from the ocean. So like that, this universe is one. That's why it is called universe. And although there is so much variety which we see in it, but the foundation, the basis of all this is one. And that's why it is able to function. So you have your own body, which is a good example to understand this, that our body has got so many different parts in it, and billions of cells, but it is all one unit, and they are all working for one purpose, one goal. It's not that each cell has got its independent purpose or independent goal to achieve. If each cell starts functioning independently, then you will not survive. But all these cells, they work in coherence, in harmony with other cells. When we eat food, then stomach does not say that I am digesting it, so it is all meant for me, and I will not supply energy, nourishment to any other part of the body. So food goes into the stomach, but then the energy is given to everything, to our senses, to our mind, intelligence, bodily limbs. Everything gets nourished because it is one system. So like that, this universe is also one system, and to understand this, to know this, that is called Advaita. But usually we don't see it like that. We make divisions. This is mine, this is yours. And then I have to protect my part, and I can plunder your part. But actually, if you take something from one house and put it in another house, if you see it from the cosmic point of view, what difference has it made? It's still within that same system. Only thing is that something may not function properly now because something is removed from somewhere. So this happens because of our individual consciousness, our separatist mentality. So materialism means separatist mentality. Spiritualism means unity. So more materialist we become, more individualistic we become. So materialistic society means only individual is important, and spiritualist thinks that the whole world is my family. I am nija paroveti ganuna laghuchetasham udara charita nam tu vasudhaiva kutumbakam. So this is mine, this is yours, this is how a materialist thinks. And a spiritualist says that the whole world is one family, because earth is one planet. It is we who make so many divisions. First we divide it into countries, then we divide it into states, then cities, then further divisions, streets, then my house. In my house also this is my room. Right? Don't enter in this. So we keep on dividing. So growing spiritually means that your vision grows, develops, you start thinking more globally, and you are not just self-centered. So that's what Narada was explaining, Bhagavatam. First, the thinking should be not just for myself, and then actions also. It should not be just for myself. And then Dravya, the objects. So Bhavadvaita, Kriyadvaita and Dravyadvaita. So if one can understand these three Advaitas, then one understands the reality, the truth. So truth does not change because of our thinking. Truth is truth. Truth is absolute. Absolute means It's not relative, it's not dependent on anyone else. We can only know it, we cannot change it. So, truth is only to be known. In theories, you can make yourself as many as you like. So, therefore, he said that. Now he says, Yad yasya vaya nishiddham syad yena yatra yato nripa satenai heta karmani naro nanni ranapadi. So he says that in this world, we are individuals, although we are part of one, and we have our individual nature because of the body. Spiritual nature is same for everybody, and all the body is made of the same tattvas, but it has different natures according to the gunas, sattva, rajas, tamas. And therefore certain duties are prescribed for certain people, because everybody is not qualified to do everything. Some people are more adept at certain things and others are not. Some may be expert in doing things physically, some mentally. Some can sing nicely, others may be able to paint, some can write poetry. So he says whatever is one's prescribed duty, one should do that. And the purpose is that by doing this you will remain in harmony with your acquired nature. We have our eternal nature as a spiritual being, and we have our acquired nature which is temporary. But all the temporary we have to function with that. But we have to know that this is all part of a big program. So for that he says, Yad yasya va anishiddham syad. He says whatever is one's prescribed activity, ordained for that, yena yatra yato nirpa. By whatever means, in whichever place. So he said that one should do that. Satena iheta karmani naro nani, one should not do the others. Anapadi, except in case of emergency. Only when there is some emergency situation, then one may have to forego one's prescribed duty and principles. Like you are going on a highway, so you follow the traffic law, traffic rules. But if there is an emergency, then you may not follow that. So if there is an ambulance and has a patient, then it can flash its light and go even in the opposite direction, or not stop at the red light. So therefore he says that Naro na anne ranapadi, when it is not emergency, then one should do that. So that is the prescription. Uktanam ashram dharman sankszipya yad dravyam yena upayana yatha sakashat. So he is saying that in the earlier verses he was explaining about the objects, about the activities, about emotions. So he says that these things also to be utilized properly. And etairanyascha vedoktair vartamana swakarma bhi grihepi asya gatim yayad rajanstad bhakti bhahan naraha. So till now he has been explaining varnashrama in great detail in the last 4 chapters, and in this one also we studied various types of activities which are performed by people belonging to different social order, students or married people or retired people or renounced people or intellectuals or managers, rulers, right? So all that was described. Now he speaks in general, which is actually the situation at present. Because present all the system which existed in India has collapsed, where people were working according to their nature, and there was segregation in the society. So now that is gone. So he says that if one performs the actions which are prescribed in the Shastra, in the scripture, in the Vedas, then one can stay in the house. One does not have to go to forest like a sannyasi or a vanprastha. And if one is bhakti bhav, so this is the point which I was speaking yesterday also, that ultimately the reason for following all the duties is to come to the point of love. Bhakti means love. So just as when you go on the highway, you follow traffic law. So the purpose of law is not just in following the law, but it is to bring you to your destination. You have a destination where you want to go. So similarly, the principles you study Yoga Sutra, when you have Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, right? So Sauch, Santosh, Tapas, Svadhyaya, Ishwar, Pranidhanani. So all these Yama, Niyama, they are not that we just follow them and there is nothing to be gained, or they don't have an aim. So they are all aimed at attaining something. So there the aim is to attain yoga, which is Chitta Vritti Nirodha, to make your mind completely free from all modifications. So it becomes thoughtless. That is Samadhi. So that is the purpose. But here Narada says that the ultimate purpose of everything, because even if your mind becomes thoughtless, then what? You still have not linked up yourself to the Supreme, who is the source of everything, who is the basis, who is the foundation of everything, who is the fountainhead. So that is only possible through bhakti or love. Because although we have various types of relations in our life, we have family relations, parents, brothers, sisters, husband, wife, these are relations. We have also relations at work relations, right? He is my secretary, he is my boss, manager. These are also relations. Then we have other relations, friends, or somebody who plays with you, tennis. You also have a relation with that. So these are all relations, but the real relation is the relation of love. That is the strongest and most lasting relation. And actually that is the life of each relation. Because without that, relation does not have much fun in it. Then you can hang around and pass time because you have no other choice. But it's not joyful. It's not pleasurable. So pleasure, the joy comes when there is love. And that doesn't matter what relation it is. Even if somebody is a co-worker, or somebody is a co-player, or partner, family life. So when that love is there, then there is life. Then it feels like that you are living. Otherwise you are walking like a dead body. And sometimes you see people, they are walking, they are like, they have no life. They are as good as dead. Sometimes you see people, they have no emotions. Looking very gloomy. So why is that? Because there is no love. So everything blooms with love. Even the plants they bloom nicely if there is love. Even animals, even if you have your pet, so they also understand the language of love. But to speak of human being, and then God is the ultimate object of love. So this bhakti which he is speaking about, he talks about that love of God. So he says that you do all your activities, but be a bhakta. Bhakti bhang nara. You should be soaked in bhakti, in love. From every pore of your body, there should be emanation of love. And that is the purpose of all rules and regulations. That is the purpose of doing pranayam, doing asanas, whether it is Ayurveda, making pudiya, herb decoctions, or any other thing. So he says that then you can stay, you don't have to go to forest, or you don't have to renounce, you don't have to take sannyas. Grihe piyasya gatim yayat rajans tad bhakti bhangna. So tad bhakti bhangna means he, that supreme. So be a devotee or devoted to him, be a lover of God. And that's how you should live. So therefore he says that Uktanam cha ashram dharman et prastutam upsangharati. So now this Narada, he was instructing him. This is the 15th chapter. So he spoke 14th chapter before King Yudhishthira. Yudhishthira, you know who was Yudhishthira? You know who is Arjuna? So Yudhishthira was the elder brother of Arjuna. He was the king. Arjuna was not king. So there were 5 brothers, you know that. So Yudhishthira was the eldest. So once they had done a big yajna, and Krishna was personally present there, and many great sages came, and then some big incident happened. The king started asking, Yudhishthira was asking him question, and then Narada started replying to him. And because Krishna was personally present, so he was actually referring to him ultimately, because they are devotees of Krishna. He is saying tad bhakti bhangara, that to be devotee, then you stay in house, or you can stay in New York, no problem. But have devotion. So that's how he is concluding now his talk. Asya Sri Krishnasya gatim grihe grihastopi yati tad bhakti bhagsya. So therefore he comments, the commentator now makes it very clear. Asya literally means his. So who is that person? It says Sri Krishna. So that person is Krishna. So asya Sri Krishnasya gatim grihe, so you can attain him, can attain his love even while being situated in your house. So being situated in your house means that situated wherever you are. You don't have to change your position, you have to change your awareness. It's not a question of changing dress that anybody can do. You can put on the dress, you can buy some robes here in Vrindavan, so you can have that. But that is not the idea. Idea is to change inside. Outside you can wear whatever you are wearing, you can live wherever you are living, you can do whatever job you are doing, but you have to bring a change inside. So that is the real change, and that is very difficult. Externally anybody can change. Today you can put one type of dress, tomorrow you can do another dress. The film actors, they are changing their dress all the time, because they have to act, and they act very nicely. But that does not change them inside. Inside they remain same. So they may change. For one movie they put one type of dress, one type of role they play. In another movie they do maybe just the opposite role. So because they don't change inside. So it is not a question of acting externally, but to bring a change within you. Because you can trick everybody but not yourself. Right? You can dress whatever way you like, but you know yourself that this is how my body looks. You can put all types of makeup, but you yourself know how you look. So others may not know it. So similarly, we can put a mask on our face and go around, but behind the mask is our real face, and that we cannot hide from ourselves. We can hide it from others, but not from ourselves, and also not from God. Because God is right within you. So where will you hide Him? Hide it. And how can you hide? So therefore He says that you have that inner change, inner consciousness, inner awareness. So that's spirituality. Materialism means changing externally. Right? So you can do plastic surgery. You can fix your nose, you can fix your cheeks. So you can do like that. But that does not change inside. Once I was watching some show in America, there was one lady, she was only maybe 29 or 30, she already underwent 20 operations, plastic surgery. And she was planning for another one. She was doing 2 jobs for this. Then they interviewed her husband. And he says, how do you think? He says, I like her the way she is. But she herself is not satisfied. So you can change it externally. That is materialism. So real surgery is inside. So Guru means who does internal surgery. That is Guru. Therefore Guru people don't like. It's very difficult to like a Guru, because he cuts the nonsense. And as I said yesterday, that we get used to our nonsense. We get accustomed to it. We cannot live without it. And he keeps on hammering on it. So you become upset. So that's what he is saying. That you have to bring this inner change. Asya Sri Krishnasya gatim grihe grihastopi yadi tad bhakti bhaksa. So you can be wherever you are, but he says yadi, if. Only one condition. And that only one condition is that which changes your life. There are many ways to gauge the personality. There are personality traits, good person, bad person. Right? But the real test is if you have love or if you don't have love. So it says, yadi bhakti bhag. If you have love, it doesn't matter where you are. And this is also the other way around. If you don't have love, it doesn't matter where you are. Because wherever you are, if love is not there, it is useless. You may be rich, you may be poor, you may live in India, you can live in America. You are educated, you are illiterate. It does not matter. So the greatness is not by, because all these things are external. You can can dress nicely externally, you can live in a very big house, drive a very fancy car, but it is all external. Inside you are the same person. You can sit in a car, you can sit in a plane, in a helicopter, or you can be on a roller skate. You are the same person. So external change, that is materialism. And we work all our life only to do external change. I have a house, I want a bigger house. I have a car, I want a bigger car. So I have a job, I want a better job. Right? So we are only working hard to change externally, but this external change does not change you and it has no meaning. And then one day you have to leave it. And one day the death comes and he says, okay, my dear fellow, let's go. And he says, what about all this? Don't worry about it, it will stay here. But I worked very hard for it. That's your mistake. Who asked you? So we have to work hard for that inner change. So that is inner change, is the change of becoming a lover of God, Bhakti Bhak. And when you have that, then you are successful. Then you are perfect. Wherever you are, in whichever situation you exist, you are perfect. So that's what Narada says, that yadi bhakti, one condition. So all this thing, all that varnashrama which was described, the purpose of that was to come to this, and then only it has a meaning. But if you don't have this bhakti, then he says it doesn't matter. So now he gives an example for this example of the king themselves, because they themselves are devotees. He says, Yatha hi yuyam nripadeva dustajad apad ganaduttarataatmanah prabho yat padapanke ruha sevaya bhavan aharshi nirjita diggaja kratum. So he said, just as you yourself, O king, and he's calling him as Nripadeva, that he was not just a king but very wonderful king. He was like a deva among the kings. He was like God among the kings, Nripadeva. He was such a nice person. Why? Because he is a devotee. That's why he's saying, he says, Yatha hi yuyam Nripadeva. He says, just like you, O king, Dustajad apad ganad uttarata atmana prabha. Says, you went through so many troubles. You know the story of Mahabharata. How many problems Arjuna and his other brothers they faced in their life from their very childhood. But they conquered over all these problems because Krishna was with them. Otherwise people become depressed, they take to drugs or do some other illicit activities. So they went through so much hell. They lost their kingdom, they have to live in the forest without tent or without that mosquito cream. And in India, forests are full of mosquitoes. I go to West, I don't see any mosquitoes there in the forest. And Indian mosquitoes, they are not gracious. So they are very ferocious. So they didn't have any cream or anything with them, no mosquito net. And they were royal people. So even they used to sometimes sit down and talk like this. He says, why we have to do this? Why not let's go and attack these people, they have taken our kingdom. So Yudhishthira would say, no. That is not proper to do that. We'll do that when time comes. So he says, Dustejad apad ganad uttarata atmane prabhu. That you crossed over such difficult situations in your life, so many problems, so many calamities you faced. What was the reason for, what was the strength behind it? Say yat pada panke ruha sevaya. It says only because you were devoted to the feet of Krishna. Because if God is with you, then which trouble can trouble you? What can trouble you? And if God is not with you, then everything looks like a trouble. Even if somebody makes one simple statement to you, you become troubled by that. You cannot tolerate that. But when you are devoted, when you have love for God, then you can face any problem. And this is what was shown in the life of these 5 brothers. This whole story of Mahabharata is to show this to us, that how these 5 brothers faced so much calamities, one after another, one after another, one after another. And then when they were fighting, they were already past 60 or 70 years of age. Yes, maybe around 75 at least. So that means for 75 years they faced troubles. Only after that they had a peaceful kingdom. So this is how they could do this. This is only because of their staunch faith and pure love for God. So, Bhavan Aharshid Nirjita Diggaja Krita. So he has performed a big yajna in which you have to conquer all over the kings. So that was not possible otherwise. So he conquered everybody. Everybody came to his yajna and accepted his emperorship. So that's why he is called Nripadeva. He was not just a king, but he was an emperor. All other kings paid tax to him. So why he became so powerful? Because of his devotion to God. So that is what he tries to explain here. He says, Esha cha panchadhyayi sarva sadharanyena ukta ekantik bhaktanam tu siddhanam sadhakanam cha bhagavaneva gati. So now Narada is giving the juice after explaining all types of dharma, the duties of a student, of a married person, of a renounced person, of a retired person, all this, of teachers, warriors and all that. Now he says that actually the essence is that those things were spoken for those people who are not devoted to God. But if you are devoted to God, then your real duty is this service to God. And that is being stated here. So whether somebody is a perfected devotee or a practicing devotee, Bhagavan eva gati. The aim, the goal is only Lord Bhagavan Krishna. Tatracha siddhan swayam aprokshi bhuteva Bhagavan swaprema tarange nartayitum sampada vipada avarta gamitan stan yathavadeva karyate. So now first he gives the example of the perfected devotees. Pandavas, they were perfected devotees. So he says that they were floating in the waves of love. And Krishna, he made them dance in love. So prem tarange nartayitum. But there are two types of prema. Sometimes they were living in a very comfortable, opulent situation, and sometimes in a very troublesome situation. And this is to show that in both situations they were happy. And that's why I said that when you have love, then it does not matter where you are, because everything is wonderful. Just like if you put on socks on your feet, and wherever you put your foot on the ground, it is as if you are putting your foot on ground covered with a sock. So one is that you cover the whole earth with some woolen cloth, and then wherever you put your feet, they are being put on the woolen cloth. Other is that you cover your feet. So like that, when your heart is full of love, then every situation becomes wonderful. You see the grace of God everywhere. So grace of God is around us. We are actually covered with it, but we don't see it. Therefore we keep on lamenting. We grieve, feel morose. That, oh, why this is happening to me? I don't deserve this. Why this trouble is coming to me? So a devotee is happy even in a troublesome situation, and he says, oh, this is how my Lord wants to see me now. So he is joyous in every situation. He accepts everything. This is what faith means. Otherwise it looks like that God made a mistake. That's why he makes statements. Oh God, why this to me? So when you want to see the grace, then you will see the grace. If you don't want to see the grace, then you will see only troubles around you. And you will keep on cursing. So that grace you see when your heart is filled with love, then you can only see. Just as I was saying yesterday, that you can put on green glass in front of your eyes, so you see everything as green. In the same way you can put on the glass of grace, and then you see grace in everything. Because God is not a sadist who wants you to suffer. He is certainly not. He wants to see you happy. But sometimes when you are sick, you need to take a bitter medicine. Right? In Ayurveda, they take Karela juice. So it's not very tasty. It's not like eating some gulab jamun or chocolate. But that Karela juice is also good for you. It will make your liver function nicely and bring up your appetite and clean your blood. So that's for your health. So sometimes God is giving us that so-called troublesome situation so that we can cure our disease and become healthy. It's needed. But if we don't see it and then we keep on cursing the doctor, this doctor is a rascal, he's asking me to drink Karela juice. No, doctor has no fun in it. He's not trying to trouble you and then feel happy. Ah, look at this guy. Now he has to drink this Karela juice. No, he's not. A good doctor's interest is only that you become healthy. And he knows what will make you healthy. So God is exactly that. He knows what will cure your disease of materialism, and you will become a spiritualist. Because without becoming a spiritualist, you cannot be happy. You can make a show and you can struggle for happiness, but you are not going to do. He knows this, and some other people also know this. So therefore they don't prescribe you things which may be appealing to you immediately, but which will harm you later on. So therefore he says that all these Apatgana, this problem, Sampad, Vipada, Avarta, Gatimans. That sometimes he sends some favorable situation to you, sometimes unfavorable situation, so that you can learn. If everything is favorable to you, you will learn nothing. Sometimes by falling sick, you learn so much, which a healthy person does not know. When you face trouble, then your brain starts working. You develop your brain muscles. If you don't face troubles, you remain a weak. You remain a knucklehead. Right? Because you have never exercised your brain. Everything is arranged for you. So you think like this. And in this situation, what can I learn? It makes you aware. When you are driving and there is no problem, then you drive like a machine. When some problem comes, then even if you had something in your hand, you are drinking, you drop it. Right? You become aware. So then your intellect, your intelligence wakes up. Otherwise you are driving and you are dreaming. And everything is happening mechanically. So God does not want that you live mechanically, because you are not a machine. You are a living being, you are a human being. So live like a human being. So that is when there is awareness. So that's why he sends in between some problems that you wake up. So that's why he says both Sampada, Vipada, Avarta, Gati, Mans, Tam, Yathavata. It says God made them dance, sometimes in a happy situation, sometimes in a troublesome situation. In fact, their mother was very intelligent and she was praying to Krishna. He says, please give me trouble all the time. In the history of the universe, nobody has asked such a boon from God. If you see God, he will say, please give me $1 million, give me a nice car, give me this, give me this. And the mother of Arjuna was praying that Vipada Shantu na Shashvat Tatra Tatra Jagat Guru Bhavata Darshanam Yad Sad Apunar Bhavadarshanam. Says, my dear Krishna, give me problems, troubles, all the time, one after another, one after another. Let me not sit comfortably. Because when problem is there, I only think of you. There is nothing else which comes to my mind. Like you become so alert, so aware. And he says, when I think of you, when I have your darshan, then that's it. I don't need anything else. I'm so happy. So for her, problem is happiness. And she is not a sadist. Sadists have another theory. So that's why he says Sampada Vipada. Prayate kurvanti tad abhiprayata acharanam eva tesham bhajanam. So their service to God was not something that they were sitting and meditating. He said just being aware of God in every situation, that was their service to God. They were not sitting down and doing kirtan or chanting mantras or anything like this. They lived normal life. This is the meaning of staying in house itself. Because as I said, that it doesn't matter where you are, what you do, everything becomes spiritual practice. Everything becomes a spiritual activity. If your consciousness is right, if your awareness is right. Otherwise you go to temple, you go to church, and there also you are thinking that now when I go to the mall I will buy this. So you are not in the church. The priest is talking and you are also talking in your head. So that's why he says that tad abhiprayata acharanam eva tesam. just acting in that particular situation with awareness of God, that is their seva, that is their service. So of course this is not easy. We cannot think in normal situation of God what to speak of in some abnormal situation. So tatra pandavaneva pramani kurvanaha yathai. So he is giving the example of Pandavas, these 5 brothers, Arjuna, etc. And he speaks this verse. Nripai devaischa sahayai dustyajat apadganat swaprabhor dhyanadi lakshana acharan sevaya eva akarayat. So he says that you went through so many troubles, but you never gave up awareness of God. You were always thinking of Krishna, and therefore you crossed over all these problems. So this is the formula to go over any problem in life, and that is to remember God. And remember God, you will cross over every problem without problem. Problem will not remain a problem for you. Problem, you will actually give problem to the problem. The problem will become troubled by you. Tatha yatha cha bhavans tathaiva pratuna harsi tathaiva anye gushenadeva pitam sevate. So he says, therefore you are able to perform this yajna, and then other things also do that. Tena madrisha griha mudadhi ityuktva swesham grihasthanam antarbhavone bhaveti bhava. So because earlier, some time ago, few chapters back, Yudhishthira has spoken in a very humble way, saying that I am just a simple family man, I am not a great sage, I am not a great sannyasi, big guru, or big spiritualist, so what will happen to me? I am stuck in this situation. So Narada says, don't think like that. Actually you are better than these sages, because you have the essence, and that is fixity of mind on God. So that's what you have. Sages are there, they are only trying to get that. You have it while staying in your house. So this example is given to make us understand what it means to be a spiritualist. Otherwise we get confused. We think somebody who has big beard, long hair, he has some big beads around his neck, or some rings on the fingers, and that is spiritualist. So I will stop here if there is any question to ask.